So, when we talk about autism, we are talking about psychiatry as well. And when we are talking about homeopathic part, we are talking about homeopathy psychiatry as well. So that is the thing. What solutions ought to be sought is why I am telling this is I have got problems, similar problems when I dealt with my patients, and patient or client and come to you, and you will be so happy to treat all their problems. But it is not like that. You have to concentrate only on what they want to achieve, because that is so essential. So many times we'll be carried away that we want to do this and we want to do that. Those things will be very helpful for the patient. We'll be thinking idealistically. So this is miraculous and all those things, but practically it does not work. So idealistic thinking is usually does not work. So when we keep our solutions to the point, what the patient parents needs, so that will be very good actually. So that reduces our burden as well. So we'll be say, solution seeking in that particular area, and you're neither responsible for all their problems nor solution to all of it. Just play your part very well. So this is why I'm telling you again is most of the times no, they will make you feel responsible for all the problems coming up during the treatment course, and few will be argumentative, few will have want to fight with you. They will have in different moods. They want someone to blame for. No, you can't take all those things. You are only doing your job. You can't take others uh, moods and other things. You can only do what you can do. So that is very important. And when it comes to personality traits and behaviors out of it, uh, I want to make this point very clear. Most of the times we think idealistically again, and we think this person will be cured of his all his problems, and he'll be normal. He'll be going to school. He'll be achieving IAS exams. No, it is not possible. So we should keep the things very particular in perspective. So if that is his nature, we can't turn Ravan into Ram and vice versa. Same way, when it is a trait, we can't change it, but we can modify it when it is maladaptive. Maladaptive in the sense they're not adjusting to the situations properly. So that is giving rise to behaviors. Uh, so and we have to concentrate on only tuning those small adaptations so that um, they will have a good little better lifestyle life, and that will improve their behaviors as well as that will be more helpful for their family as well. So I want to share one case. It is a case of a girl of mentally retarded girl with um, very low IQ and gross things also her mother has to help her, but she had some skin issue. Mm, and then I came to know while taking the case that she is she her anger is too much. She will shout and she will do big drama. Okay, and I didn't treat her anger. Why, uh, the situations she is in a small slum, something like that, and everyone knows that she is very having anger, and these abusers are not coming near her. So that is her trait. That anger is her trait. So I didn't. I gave medicines which won't alter her trait. It could be maladaptive, but it is protective in her case. So we should be very careful while dealing with such things, I guess. And so when it comes to um, treating, we have to treat the disorders or maladaptation rather than traits. Traits can't be changed. We all know that. And how we are going to achieve this? So we have to cultivate right skills. So that's what one purpose of this book. I wanted this book to help in gaining avenues where you can cultivate right skills. So if someone is interested in psychology, they can go and learn more about it. They can go to the courses or something like that. If they are more interested in other subjects, they can get into it. They can go for research or whatever. So this is one way of um, letting them have more orientation towards what they really want to achieve, and it is enhancement of well-being. And we have to know that not everything is bad. Negative experiences may lead to good positive aspects. So this is coping, that is how they adapt to the situations is more important rather than avoiding negative. Again, not idealistic behavior. You have to admit that this is uh, this is the way. We have to be keep our perspectives very clear. And what is the usual psychiatrist follow? What is the rule? That is three things: biological interventions. That is what we are giving through homeopathic medicines. That is our main area. And when it comes to uh, when it comes to social things, that is the area which this book wants to address those points. That's why we have included all other things like yoga and other factors which will be helpful for the improving the social well-being of the that child or the person in context. And psychological model, that is very essential. Psychological supportive psychotherapy, and this is very very essential for that is very essential for the parents, so that we can provide with our common sense, or we may provide them, we can refer them to somewhere when it is needed. That change should be followed with or without allopathic drugs. So we can't be stopping allopathic drugs if the child is on, if the case is severe, and we have to go by those drugs, as well as we have to keep our work going. So parents counseling is very essential thing for us, and uh, this is only a one case, but how it has all the aspects of psychiatric process, I think that is not essential now. So now I want to come to this point where ADHD, CD, and ODD has been so much good response with homeopathic treatment that mostly all of you are aware of, and because this is very important just to boost our morality, or we should feel better about ourselves. So I have given few of the case series where they have come up with very good results. There had been a 5-year longitudinal study on ADHD where 75% of children have improved, and we know very well that homeopathy can help in these cases. And this is only a what to say, tip of an iceberg. So I think now I'm coming to the part where in case taking, we have to focus on one point very very important, that is freedom from prejudice. Because uh, in if we have one small assumption, the case may turn totally different. we have to be always have unprejudiced observation, and we should have sound senses. And for that, what it all have to be recorded. We can go for our case record sheet. uh, I have tried to inculcate most of the things what I have seen in my practice, what is seen in other case sheets, as well as what usually comes up in treating with autism. So I think it's a very good point to start with, but at the same time, mm, it's not that we have to fill it at that place then itself. Most of the times we have to hear all the things what patient is saying, so we can record the case and we can fill the case record sheet. So this is one way of individualizing our keeping our unprejudiced mind, as well as not assuming at any point of time. And mm, how to approach these severe mental cases. Again, I am telling you through my own experience. See, the world is full of so many problems. People will come to road and they will be shouting, government should do this and that about pollution or whatever it is. That is, it is a reactive focus. That is, you are asking for someone to do this, you do this, you do that. So that is not going to help. And when it comes to autism as well, it is a really serious problem, serious issue. And if we go by reactive focus, like let them do, let the other therapists do, I think it won't help. Why don't we do it in a proactive focus? Why don't we all do what we can, like as homeopaths, what we can do? So that is the main core thing which led to this. So we are gaining skills which are related to autism, so that uh, we can uh, have a uh, collective efforts which will lead to better influence over the world. It is true that we alone can't do much, but it is also true that whatever we can do, and that matters. And why autism is can't be handled without supervision, because it is a difficult to treat type of case, and you definitely need lots of caution and supervision. So that's why we have to have this group effort, so that we can have uh, a better outcome. So I will suggest it should be a teamwork. So all these efforts are leading to that alone. We are a team where we are the therapists or we are the doctors. Social worker may or may not come, because we are not treating that severe cases, but occupational therapists and psychologists and other person or other therapists are really needed for us, and we can handle, along with their expertise, can handle specific problems uh, side by side. So to make the patient comfortable and independent. So that is the our main aim. So that one child is coming with autism and we are treating him, we leave no stone unturned by which that child will be independent as much as possible, normal in behavior as much as possible, and if possible, he will go to normal. So that will be our end result. So we will be trying to achieve as much as we can as a team. So alone we can't achieve. So that's why this book is here. And homeopaths definitely need allopathy colleagues whom you know well, could be, or you have heard that he is very good doctor. Uh, See, it is very essential. These are not just my words. This is from the science faculty who had taught us in our psychology course, because um, we, I agree that allopathic fraternity usually won't accept or acknowledge when homeopaths are treating very well or whatever. No, that does not matter for us. We need expert advice definitely. They may not give directly to us, but they will definitely give to the patient. So through the patient also we can get the whatever they won't consult the doctor and they come back to us. Then in that way we'll have an expert advice, and that will be one mm, one way of what to say, having a influence over proactive influence, because though they may not acknowledge or accept it, definitely they will come to know that homeopathy is nothing, because they are seeing the results in their those patients. So forget it. We don't want any acceptance. We will do our own job. That's it. And so we need someone who is really good psychiatrist, compassionate, and very good in healing cases. Better nearby, and that's fine. But they should not be misleading the patient. We should be little specific in that part. Some will mislead, so we should not send to such doctors. And we need a peer group. That's what again I am telling. We are here. So that peer group, if formed, will be very essential part of dealing with such cases. And mentors are compassionate seniors. That is very essential, because sometimes it will be very crucial points. If we miss, we'll miss the case, and sometimes it will be very scary. Our senses will be dull. We feel scared, and we don't know what to do. So if we can get help from a senior, they will immediately clear the air. So you will feel more confident. And definitely we have such seniors. It's not that far. And when you are examining the case, you need a bystander. That is very essential. It could be your pharmacist or whatever, whoever is, and that is very essential. And these things we have to take care of. Compassion fatigue. I have broken down with compassion fatigue lots of time. Now I have learned not to get into that with repeated mistakes, because it is too taxing, too tiresome when seeing others suffering. And we have to have that third man perspective, what usually Dr. Rajan Shankaran refers to. So that is very essential. Third man perspective. Then only we can survive. Otherwise, we will be very fatigued. We'll have that fatigue and this. And because you understand a problem, it does not become this. Most of the patients are like, they will ask, come and ask, shall I go and have an MRI? Fine, you get the MRI, but does that mean that is the solution? No, right? We know where is the problem, but it's only first step towards getting the solution. So uh, this we have to keep on reminding again and again. Otherwise, will be carried away with the problem, and we'll be happy that we have come to know what is the problem. No, usually that is starting of dealing with the problem, and it may lead to solution or it may not. And resilience, that is very essential, especially for these cases. Again, as I told, it's very taxing, very difficult to handle at times, and sometimes you just want to leave everything and you want to run away. So that's why we should have that peer group and other supportive groups. It's better to handle with the team, and And sometimes we'll know some person is better dealing with this part than me. So you should have that as well. So you have to take friends' help. So who can help you in this particular part? So that is also very essential. And not to do is again based on what we learned in our psychology. Usually, enhanced faculty, especially Dr. Shobha Srinath, she was she was the one who all these things she told us. Mm, and we should not rub our own ideals onto the patients, and we should not judge them. This is a very difficult part. Again, it comes to unprejudiced mind, and mm, it is called objectivity and intensely interactive. That's what like taking their whole problem upon yourself, and you are seriously taking it. You are thinking about it day and night. You are going and searching all the books available, all medical books available. So you're living only for that case. It happens so many times. And if that is done, usually it will have a will not have a good outcome, as I have seen. So you should have better have that third man perspective. You should go as it comes, one step at a time. And sympathy also, you will feel so bad that you feel guilty of not doing things, or guilty of seeing them suffering. These things won't help. You should be empathetic, compassionate rather, and but you should be, you should know what are the limitations of your and hard work and uh, so you should be keeping notes of everything. Nothing is should everything should be documented. Even the persons how they talk, what and all emotions they use, uh, each and every word has to be documented. That is very essential. And when coming to treatment part, I think we have an article about that by Dr. Joe. uh, I think it addresses most of the things what can be uh, put in paper, because each case is different, as we know, and each case we have to work differently. But I think that article addresses most of the issues. And mm, I have based this on Hahnemann's one-sided diseases, how he asks us to treat one-sided diseases, and they are less amenable cure, but they can be uh, definitely helped. And he says you have to first the first prescription will be imperfect because we don't know the real issue, but second time it could be more accurately suitable. So he does not say single remedy, single dose. In these cases, one-sided diseases, we have to only concentrate on what symptoms we are getting at that point of time, and we have to move on. And mm, these are really difficult, hard to treat cases, but definitely we can help as things progress. You have to take all the things into consideration, all the things, whatever things are there, like miasm and past history, families, everything we have to consider. So this is so in this management is also comes very important. And now I am coming to the head of my topic, why this book. So almost I have told why this book happened. Uh, when I took over IHRC, I wanted to do a survey of all the autism cases treated by other doctors. Since I have more orientation towards treating autism cases and especially the psychiatric cases, um, I thought, why don't I bust the myths around treating such cases? Because I have personally heard few people saying, even little seniors are saying, like autism and all, I don't want to treat. I am happy with my cold cough fever cases. Why band heads? I have to give so much of effort. Why I have to do so much of effort? So that was one thing I wanted to tell. It's not that difficult. It is mm, easy to handle if we know what things to take care of. So it is one way of sharing my excitement in treating psychiatric cases, and also to bust the myths around it, sort of, and just orient my friends, my colleagues, my fellow homeopaths to take up autism cases. And when I was suggesting about survey, um, that was my mentors told Dr. Joe and Dr. Abdul Ghaffar suggested research should be on a common ground. It should not be from different sources. We don't know what's happening there. That is not scientifically proven, and it should be from reliable data, and it should be one thing very streamlined. So to do that, what we had to do first, we should have something in hand. So we developed the case record sheet. We developed this book thing, and I wanted to write an book about autism, but I know I can't do it alone because I'm not expert in all the fields. So it happened in that way that we like-minded doctors came together, and each one took one topic. Rather, I told them, and they worked on it, and they came out with good articles. So it became little easier teamwork, and I think it will be uh, more authentic things will be coming into it because each one has researched about their own topic, and um, this is a little emotional thing. I have seen kids with autism in my very close vicinity, uh, and I have that happy, or I have that strength. Oh, I have for me, I can help. So that strength now most of the parents will not have because they don't know what homeopathy can bring about. So um, that when we see those cases, when we hear their stories, if that does not move us to tears, or that does not make us to spring into action and help them with what we are possessing. We have studied in our colleges for 5 years. We have gained knowledge to treating so many cases, and we have been through so much of thing, and still we are not oriented to help them. Then what else can make us move? It's in a rather emotional thing, but um, I think we have to help whoever comes into our thing. We should not refuse to treat such cases just because they need lots of inputs, lots of we have to face lots of difficulties. That should not be the norm. That's why this book has come. That is the main core purpose of it. And we are not expecting miracles. We are only want to do what we can. And it's like the person who is throwing that sea starfish into the sea. He may not throw all the starfish into the sea and save them, but he can save you, and it matters. The same way, if we can treat autism cases, we can help them to whatever extent we can help them. That matters. And if miracles happen, that's the side effects, and why not? And thank you so much, all of my friends, uh, for coming and hearing.
Huh?
Hello, I have unmuted you all. You can
Huh?
talk. actually I have we
नहीं
can
वो
start
करा
with,
वो करने वाली थी लेकिन ये तो स्ट्रॉन्गर है और अच्छी है तो
hello
मैं
hello
ये आपको देना चाहती थी इस अगली बार मैं वही दूंगी आपको
hello
ये थोड़ा चेंज करके देना जरूरी था नहीं नहीं ये अच्छा ही है आप खा के देखिएगा आपको पता चलेगा
Hello.
hello uh, hello
Ma'am, I think you can mute, unmute one by one.
हाँ
no I have unmuted they have to understand that
हाँ
I have unmuted so that we can talk together.
नहीं जो बना के रखा था वही उसके साथ सिर्फ पाउडर थोड़ा चेंज
I
किया
think
बस पाउडर पाउडर
Sheila is with
Ma'am, we are
उसके वाला
having
ला
lot of
एक्स्ट्रा डाल के भेजा
yeah I think few are
Lot
with
of
their cases.
disturbances.
Yeah, they are with the case. I think they are seeing their cases.
ma'am, lot of disturbance is there.